Alright, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kadash, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to all the Akim that is doing the work in sincerity and charity with humiliation all across the four winds. To you I salute. It's the brother Yahshua from the GMS Bahamas Camp back at you with a quick impromptu or brief update per se. Now, a couple of days ago, I did a lesson entitled Banana Trees. I advise, any and all our came to check that out, right? And it dealt with pretty much, you being comfortable and not to be comfortable. Well, be comfortable being uncomfortable, as the elder Ramlad said, right? And I showed you an example with two banana trees that I planted. One, when it was first planted, didn't have nothing on it, and the other one had a little sprout on it. Now, revisiting that again, right? We have to understand that, the things what we go through, our trials and tribulations are there to help us to grow. Without adversity, there's no growth, right? And that's why I say that. Let's go back to these banana trees, right? Remember, this was the one that did not know, was started out with no growth. Now you see how it flourished up? This one, what I thought was dead, but it flourished up right away. This was the one that I thought would have been the biggest out of the bunch, but it didn't have no growth at all. So what I did was I cut the head off, and now look at that. Let's get that focus. You see that right there? That's growth. That's growth. And now I say that to say this. Before the head of this was cut off, before its, let's call it its trial, it wasn't showing no growth. And a lot of times the Most High puts us through adversities, through trials and tribulations, to cut off our comfortable area, cut off our comforts, cut off where we feel comfortable, in order for our growth to continue. Because our comfort stunted the growth of the body, right? This plant, this didn't have no comfort at all. This didn't have any leaves or anything on it. So all it could have done was grow. And we know ultimately the Most High gives the increase. And that's like in how a lot of us be in our lives. We let our comforts get the best of us. But bearing those two plans in mind, when you're made uncomfortable, the Most High is doing that for you to grow. You see? I have a couple of precepts here. I'm not going to make this too long, right? The first precept I have here, Hebrews 12 and 11. It reads, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. You see that? Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed." You see that? For what is lamed, which is lame, be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. And that's what the Most High did with that plant. Yeah, he cut it off. He cut off the head part. It was wounded. But now it is being healed. It's showing growth. New growth. So that old way, which was stunting the actual growth of the body, has now been removed. The comforts have now been removed. Now it's opening up pathways for new growth. And that's like how we are in this truth. We have to cut off that old man. When the Most High cut off that old man who we used to be, to make way for the new growth in the spirit, right? And thinking about it, let's use the plant again. When we use ourselves, when we're going through these trials and tribulations, they ain't fun. You might have got put out your house. You might have had a fight with your wife. You see, you might have had a dirty, stinking argument with somebody. You might have got certain things taken away from you. when you trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and through faith, you know that hey, this happened because the Most High have a different direction for me to go in. You see, these things happen because I was getting too comfortable in what I was in the life that I had. So the Most High cut it out to make way for new growth, for you to see these things. And when you're going through it, you don't see it right away. But as time progresses, you start to say, well, okay, now I understand why the Most High did it. But true faith, when you're in this truth, you understand right off the bat. But again, it ain't fun going through it. You have to go through it. That don't mean it make it fun. But you understand why you have to go through it. Right? The next precept I have here is the book of Sirach chapter 2. A lot of us know these by heart, but Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. You see that? Just like the tree. When the hair get cut off of that, it didn't just wither up and die. No, it didn't make haste in time of trouble. It didn't panic. It grew. The Most High saw it fit to make it grow, to increase it. Cut it down, help it grow better. For his tree, cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Con. And that's what, inside this truth, that's what we gotta do. You see? When you're going through these shit, whatever shit what you're going through, whatever trials you're going through, suck it up. Deal with it. Go through it. Because at the last end, the Most High can give you the increase. It happening for a reason. You may not know the reason why it happening, but hey, it happening nonetheless, so suck it up. Buckle up, gird up thy loins as a man. You see? Last precept I have, one of my favorite precepts, James chapter 1 and 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he will receive the crown of life that Yahweh has promised to those that love him. You gotta endure the temptations. Blessed is the man that endure the temptations. You see? Blessed is the man that, when he gets his comforts taken away, he endure it nonetheless. When he gets, if he get inside a fight with somebody, or he is used to living a certain way, now he gotta live a different way. Blessed is the man that endure the temptation, because ultimately you will receive the crown of life from the Most High Power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. All of this is trusting in him. It ain't gonna be fun. It ain't gonna be fun most of the times, but ultimately within the spirit, hey, it can be worth it. But that's just something quick what I wanted to touch on. I give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash, Shalom.